Wait, so is your sound okay? I can hear you.
Yeah, I
hit recording.
as long as I'm not too quiet. All right.
You're uploading, right?
Yep.
I can start by saying this is the 70th episode of SETI BIMCO.
Is it really?
The 20th of season 2, but 70th overall.
Nice.
You're my second host.
Have you done? Yeah, you've driven
How long
away.
will you last?
Well, not much longer with these movies, Tim.
It's SETI BIMCO Part 2, The Revenge. The show where we create revenge sequels that nobody wanted. I forgive my enemies, but not before I put itching powder in their underpants.
It's SETI BIMCO Part 2, The Revenge. As it said in the theme song, we're gonna create some revenge movies. We're gonna create some revenge stories that were not made for this movie, and we always pick a wild card question.
All right.
Because we're gonna watch this movie. We're gonna say which character from this movie is most likely to. And I picked it out of a hat.
Okay.
Number 14.
Number 14.
Who from this movie will most likely become a wildlife photographer?
All right.
What do you want to do? Did something outrage you? Enrage you? Are you any or an outie? Outraged.
Let's see. The movie outraged me this week. This took me 3 sessions to get through.
Okay.
I just turned it off and was like, listeners, I should let you know, I don't know what my energy level is going to be at because I maybe sound a little hoarse. I'm a little sick.
Oh, no.
Got a little bit of a summer cold. We had my girlfriend's aunt was visiting from the Netherland of Florida, and we went to the Mermaid Parade, which is a famous event here in New York, in Coney Island. It's like an art parade. People dress up as mer people, just kind of walk around, have a good time. A lot of toplessness, both male and female. You can see some boobies if you want, unlike this movie we watched tonight.
I forgot all about the Mermaid Parade.
I think I caught. Yeah, it's. I think we actually were already making plans and taking her to Coney Island because she'd never been, and we're like, oh, it's the Mermaid Parade, which is a fun day to go to Coney Island, but honestly not the best day because everything's just kind of packed, so we couldn't do a lot of stuff, and the Cyclone was being worked on for. It was temporarily closed for renovations. I have a tradition where I have ridden the Cyclone up until recently. Every year since high school, I would ride that.
Oh my God.
And I missed it during the pandemic because it was shut down. And then I missed it last year because I went to Coney Island 3 times and there was always some catastrophe that prevented me, like rain or something. And then today, like most recently when I went there, it was like it's under weird maintenance. I'm like, maybe I just shouldn't go on that because
this is a sign.
It's going to kill me.
Yeah.
So am I outraged by this? No. It's just I'm changing it from being what enraged me this week to being what mildly grumped me out this week.
Oh.
So having kind of a summertime cold just sucks.
I got to carry the show.
How about you, Tim? Wait, what?
I got to carry the show?
Yeah, I know. Everybody, oh, wait, did you hear that, Tim? That's the sound of all our listeners turning off. They're like, it's bad enough it's a Tim movie, but now he's going to be... Well, you're definitely going to have to carry the show because I have to admit, I didn't learn any characters' names.
Come on.
I don't know who any of the characters are.
Wait, George, wait, slow down.
I'm just giving spoilers.
You didn't ask what enraged me.
I did ask, but you took too long. What enraged you this week?
You didn't ask me.
I did. Go back and listen to the tapes. Listeners are like, he definitely did. They heard it. All right.
No, you did.
Yeah, you're going to edit it out. What enraged you this week?
I'll just go right to the news story enraged me that you probably didn't read.
No, I did read it, but I forgot it. What was it again?
Well, over in what country is this? In Poland, there's a town named Hell.
Oh, this did piss me off. Yeah.
And you could ride the bus 666 to Hell, and it was a big tourist, not a big tourist attraction, just something funny, you know.
Yeah.
I'd ride it. And a local group of who was it? Who were they called? They're Christians?
It was a conservative Christian group. I forgot their name.
I know. I'm not going to name them. But they changed. Did you read the whole story though? Here's the thing.
Yeah, they pressured them. to change it. So now it is, instead of bus route 666 that goes to hell, HEL, it's 669.
669. I'm like, somebody was being cheeky. Like, well,
it would have been really cool
if
they did it to 616, because that's the Marvel Universe designation.
That is not cool. Never mind.
So fucking cool.
I was going to make a 69 joke, but you ruined it. Sorry, audience.
Know who's 69?
Sorry, listeners.
When Spider-Man kissed Mary Jane, they were 69ing. Yeah.
Our audience expects
hot. What is our audience?
Immature sexual jokes about the number 69.
They expect. Let's see, what does our audience expect? They expect numerous references to the Osmonds and Hitler in no particular order. No. They expect movies that are grainy with poor audio and no discernible plot or worth. And we're going to deliver on all that stuff.
Because.
Know what I did like about that article he sent him, though?
What?
About the 666 to hell? Mm-hmm. They say that they're already in the article, like, yeah, we're going to change it back. Because they got these complaints from these Christians, and the Christians like, but that's the devil. We don't like the devil. He punches Jesus. But then, if you're hell, because why else would anyone go to hell except to take bus 66? They're whatever meager amounts of tourism they got immediately dried up, and they're like, "Oh fuck this shit." They probably being a dramatic people, they probably burned the churches.
They probably
crucified the priest.
Hell flavored ice cream cones. They probably have.
What is hell flavor?
Hell hotel. Like? I bet you there's a hell hotel. Would you stay at the hell hotel?
I fuck yeah.
And they probably have. Hell Met.
What is the hell? What is that?
I'm waiting
the
for
art
you.
Museum?
You got a cold, see?
Yeah, I got it. There's the dermatology place called Hell's a Poppin'.
Yes,
yeah. See, that's good. Yeah. There's the California eatery called Hella Good. See, it's both Hell LA and Hella. Yeah, I got it. I still got Tim. Even a sick George O'Connor, he still lays down sick punnery.
They go visit Helen. She's a lady in town.
Hell and the Greek restaurant Hell N of Troy.
Yep.
What else do we got here? Let's just keep doing hell puns.
They sell a lot of DVDs of Help by the Beatles. Okay.
Yeah, that's that one. Wow.
I ended it.
Stick a fork in hell. All right, what's the movie called, Tim? Because I forgot the name every time I said it.
This movie is called The Girls from Thunder Strip from 1970. Oof. Some Wikipedia says 1966. Some Wikipedias say 1970.
It's hotly contested.
There's a comic book connection here that George is not excited about. There is. It's co-written by Pat Boyette. Does he say his name Boyette or Boyetti?
I would say Boyetti because that would because it sounds like Chef Boyardee, but it's definitely Boyette though. Pat Boyette.
Yeah, he wrote Carlton Comics and he co-created
Charlton Comics. They might be called.
No, they're called Carlton Comics, George.
No, they're called Charlton.
We do this every week. You don't know how to talk.
We do this every week. We talk.
Comics.
Look it up. It's fucking CH, you tool. Tim, look it up right now. I'm stopping the podcast. I'm going to keep talking. Charlton Comics.
He created Peacekeeper. Or Peacemaker.
No,
what's it called?
Peacemaker. The man who loves peace so much he'll kill for it. Recently the star of the HBO Max series starring John Cena, directed by James Gunn. The inspiration for the comedian from Watchmen. Yeah. He is a superhero, wears a red shirt, wears a red t-shirt, wears a toilet bowl on his head. I'm not even exaggerating. It looks like a toilet bowl. See, it's a weird design.
It is.
And that was his thing. He has a big dove on his chest, and he's like, I love peace so much, I'll kill you to keep the peace. And, the
dove was actually for soap. He was very clean.
He was into hand soap. Yeah.
So, yeah, that's weird. I didn't know that when I picked this movie.
Yeah, that was the kind of, and there's another great piece of trivia, which I don't think you've uncovered because you would have definitely texted me about this. Uh-oh. So I'm going to drop this on you midway through. That's also fucking astounding.
Oh, you're not telling me yet?
So, no, I think it's better to wait. No, wait, let me think. Is it better to wait?
Well, also,
I'll wait because I want the listeners to have a chance to I want them to be like, holy shit, the guy who created Peacemaker made this movie. All right.
One of Here, I thought I wrote his name down. One of Bing Crosby's sons was in this movie. I told you that. And nowhere on the internet can I find out what character he is. No. It's like
That's the weird thing. It's on IMDb, like he's listed as a character, but they don't say his name.
No.
And this movie only has like maybe 9 or 10 characters. So, and I can't even think of scenes where there's extras.
I think he's one of the bikers. There's Teach, there's Animal, and a biker who I don't remember his name. There's like 3 biker men. And Pike is our hero, kind of.
Kind of.
There's no heroes in this movie. Just tell you now.
That's the first problem with this movie is like I was watching this. It's called The Girls of Tiger Beat. What is it? The Girls from what?
Thunder Strip. Just think Bruce Springsteen song. It's based on a Bruce Springsteen song.
I don't know that. It's not. No, it's way older than that.
The Girls from Thunder Strip. Come on.
Girls from Thunder Strip. They're not the main characters. I thought for a while the sheriff was the main character. But he, I guess, dies off camera or in a Mercury's shot sequence that I was like, oh, wait, is he dead? Oh, the guy who I thought was the main character dies halfway through this movie.
Let me give the synopsis right, so people at least know what the movie's about.
Please tell me you read the one I read last week off of Wikipedia, which is the worst written 2 sentences.
This film is about a trio of hillbilly girls who take on a biker gang over moonshine. The storyline is basically about female bootleggers taking on a biker gang, which is led by a typical bad biker called Teach.
That's terrible, right?
Yes.
So before we get into it, Tim, I am going to ask because I really did have a hard time telling these people apart and only was able to describe the lead biker. I'm like, kind of remind me of
Teach.
Jason Segel from How I Teach.
That's Teach.
Who does he teach?
Maybe it was supposed to be Tetch, like Blackbeard.
Maybe. And then there was Monster or Animal was one of them.
Animal. And I don't know.
He was not a Muppet that played the drums.
I can't find his name even in the BDM. There's a woman called Red who has red hair. She's in charge of the
I'm going to stop you and challenge you right there. She did not have red hair. I was like, how dare you have this woman who does have red hair be called Red?
What? Am I remembering this wrong?
She was a mousy brunette at best.
Well, there's not much to talk about this movie. Let's
I took very copious notes for the first bits.
Did you write the lyrics of the song they were singing at the beginning? Girls will blow your mind.
That's not the song. It was just as good though. This really was. I was just texting in our text line that we have independent of this with some friends. I was saying this is really much the prototypical Tim Hamilton movie. Mm-hmm. It starts off with the terrible music that probably the producer sang.
Probably.
It's long shots of what the movie's gimmick in this one is bikers. So you better believe we opened up with 2.5 minutes of just watching the back of a guy motorcycling. And I'm not exaggerating. I timed it. 2.5 fucking minutes.
But this is a Grindhouse film.
Scratchy. It's not Grindhouse. Scratchy ass film.
The pieces of film
terrible
disappear.
Audio quality.
Yes.
Is that the definition of Grindhouse? Film disappears?
Well, I never saw a movie like that. Where they edited together? In this film, at certain parts, big pieces disappear and someone's laying on the ground dying, and you're like, what happened? that happens later.
What is this movie called again? I'm trying to look it up. The girls who Thunder Road.
The girls who makes moonshine.
No, that's not. Girls of Thunder Drift. What is it? Thunder Strip. That's it.
The Bruce Springsteen song.
I don't know that Bruce Springsteen song.
East Street Band didn't really want to record this song. What Bruce was like, we're doing it.
I'm pretty sure the East Street Band was not alive yet. Well, they were alive, but they weren't together as a band.
In 1971, yeah. They had that album, Down by the River. So,
I'm looking up. I'm on the IMDb trying to find the name of the third gangster, and I can't.
You can't. Let's get one thing out of the way. The sadness. Yep. It starts with a girl being raped. It's not graphic. It's not there's no nudity. It's just it had nothing to do with the movie.
Can I just? Yeah. I'm just because I don't have notes past this part. I want to share my notes I'm taking. 2 minutes, 35 seconds, a sexual assault. And I'm already like, whoa, this sucks. And then at 4 minutes, we cut after. Yeah, we were made to watch it for over a minute. I was like, this sucks.
But
at 4 minutes,
the added worst part, if you notice, it's the scene where at the end she's like, well, I guess I wanted this. I like this. She's like hugging him. I don't
I'm getting to that in my recap.
Yeah.
At 4 minutes, we meet the other two bikers, because this is one of the bikers, and then the other two bikers, they're riding down the road, and they there's a woman who seems to have been perhaps abducted by them on the back of one of their bikes. She's barefoot. They make her siphon gas out of something.
I don't quite understand that, because they didn't do it. She didn't do it, and then they were like, we're not going to do it.
I didn't understand what's happening there either.
Yeah.
And they were like, well, I had her. She's garbage now. And they leave her barefoot at the side of the road.
Right.
At 5 minutes, 50 seconds, we come back to the guy who has just assaulted the woman, the first biker. He flips her a quarter and goes, here, it's 15 cent raise from last time or whatever, something.
Yeah. Don't buy anything.
At 8 minutes, 28 seconds, the guy who has just finished raping the first woman picks up the second woman on the road, the one who'd been abandoned by his two friends. They drive with her to a gas station where they're all hanging out.
George, are you going to give the time of everything?
No, it's just because I'm just watching. I'm like, the amount of like appalling shit in the opening scenes of this movie that you made me watch. Then
it's a Cornell
Cornell
gas station, by the way. Before Cornell,
it was Cornell.
It was an Ivy League school. It was
exactly,
It was a string of gas stations.
Didn't realize this was filmed in Ithaca, New York. So she's like, I haven't eaten in 2 days. And they say, you want to eat? And they throw food on the floor, knock her on the floor, step on her, say, eat like a dog. And then they pee on her.
Yeah.
And all this happens. And I look up and it's still an hour and 12 minutes to go in this movie.
I think this was like, they wanted to keep people in their seats. They didn't want them to leave. This is all like, if you like this, you think there's going to be a lot of it, which there's no more like raping or
actually there is, Tim.
Well, yeah, there is you don't know if it happens. I'm not sure. We'll see.
We know
there's some shooting and then people run around. So the lady calls the police, but
not a lady in the gas station calls the police. The sheriff, I will hand for a rural place. The sheriff does arrive there very quickly.
Wait, you're missing that they're going to Hicksville, by the way. The name of this town is Hicksville they're going to, but they smell a hillbilly. Really? Remember, they're like, because the gas station attendant's like, hey, you shouldn't be peeing on that lady. And they're like, I smell a hillbilly. So why are they smelling a hillbilly in Hicksville? Shouldn't they be smelling the Hicksville?
Isn't Hicksville on Long Island anyway? The first suburb created after World War II?
I think this is Florida.
Let's talk. It probably was.
But
let's talk about hillbilly as a term. What does that mean to you? Like the guy they described as a hillbilly, who is ostensibly our hero, Jody McCrea, Pike.
Well,
he's just wearing like a blue shirt.
They are
clean cut, clean shaven. I hear hillbilly. I think of like the character from Boggy Creek 2, Old Man Crenshaw.
But did you see where he lived? He lives in a shack surrounded by chickens with his Aunt Tilly. We'll get to her, but
what?
That's where he lived. He didn't have any other house that I saw.
Wait, Aunt Tilly was his aunt?
Well, they called her Aunt Tilly. That's all. Come on, you're
Tim,
but the gas station. The gas station attendant.
So the gas station.
The biker has a knife. They get in a fight and they accidentally stab this woman that they had been peeing on.
Yep.
And the gas station attendant's like, oh my God. Doing his best acting.
Well,
and when the police do show up, they're like,
was the gas station attendant the hero?
Was he? He tried to be.
No, was he the guy who was our hero?
We don't see him again.
They looked very similar.
Oh, yeah. Maybe that was Bing Crosby's son.
I bet you're right, Tim.
Maybe.
Tim, I think you just cracked this mystery. We can stop talking about it now.
Okay, we're done.
All right, bye. Well, then the sheriff pulls up. Very fast response times. The sheriff reminded me of if Matthew McConaughey and Quint from Jaws had a baby.
Yeah, yeah.
He was actually not bad. Like,
no, he was terrible, George. He said, "This lady, she's been stabbed, but
no,
let's harass the bikers."
His character was terrible.
Yes.
He was the best actor in the movie, I think.
True. Not Orville. Orville is his deputy.
Was Orville... Okay, I couldn't even decide if Orville was mentally challenged or not.
So. His cousin, Otis, works in Metropolis.
Oh, wait. Wait, you're making a Ned Beatty reference?
Yeah.
Speaking of Ned Beatty, everybody,
Otis.
I'm so glad you mentioned this because we need to mention this. This entire movie is soundtracked with banjo music.
Yes, the same song.
And it's the same, except for like in the last 5 minutes when the chase, which, oh my God.
Did Ned Beatty play that banjo? Is that what you're going to tell me?
No, because Ned Beatty's in Deliverance. He's, okay. I don't know what you know, Tim. Wait, we left this. I want to actually say this. The sheriff shows up. He proves to be a badass. He beats up one of the gang guys, throws him on the car, arrests the guys. The scene is filmed so oddly, I couldn't tell what was happening. There was very little. The 3 biker actors are terrible.
Yes.
They're very bad actors. Like there are scenes where I had to watch multiple times to understand what was happening because they didn't react to stuff. But the sheriff puts them in his car.
You were distracted.
Drives off and just leaves this. I guess she's dead.
No,
but he's like, he doesn't say even ambulance. He's like, you wait here for the doctor. Yeah. Nobody checks on this woman who was stabbed. The gas station attendant is just kind of standing there wringing her hands. Still, I'm like, I don't know. She was stabbed in the belly. Maybe you put like a cloth on her, you can staunch the bleeding or something. Anyway, I don't think she ever comes up again, but maybe she does. Because there was another girl that looked like her. Because everyone looked the fucking same.
She was taken to nearby Otisville, where the hospital was, not to Hicksville. There's no hospital in Hicksville.
I don't get this. Why we're doing this Otis stuff.
It just happened, George.
How do you not do Orville and Wilbur?
This is my name. Orville. Who?
The Wright brothers.
Oh, Orville.
When I hear Orville, I think that. Then secondly, I think of Redenbacher. Very far down the list do I think of Otis, the bumbling crook from the Superman movies.
He looks like it would be his brother. Orville and Otis, they look alike.
No. Okay. I mean, they're both bipedal and they're descended from apes. Yeah.
They're chubby, to be kind.
I guess they are. I mean, Ned Beatty definitely was.
And Orville in this movie was always saying, can we go we're going to live in California, Mr. Luthor? I forget what he said. Are we going to the North Pole, Mr. Luthor?
Oh,
that's what he said, right?
I don't know.
You go, ooh, are we going?
I just remember the scene where there's the balloon trying to save them from the prison, and every time he steps in the ladder, it comes down because apparently he weighs 3,000 pounds. And then Luthor cuts him loose. He's like, "Bye, Ned Beatty. See you never."
Ooh, that's Superman.
I'm
2.
Gene Hackman.
Did he not want to be in that one? Because he is kind of like they leave him there, and then he's not in most of the movie.
There's a cut scene where Non eats him.
Ooh, well, that
the silent kryptonite. Yeah, he goes.
But he's in the end when Luthor goes back to prison. So I don't know.
Is he? Does he give him back massage?
Maybe it was Orville filling in for him.
I'm quitting.
All right.
All right. Bye, everybody.
We go back to the lockup.
All right.
Casey Kasem shows up. He's an agent from the government. Mr. Conrad's his name.
Ooh, good. I'm gonna write that name.
If you're under 90, Casey Kasem used to have America's Top 40, a TV show where you could see music videos before everyone had MTV.
Or if you're under 90, he's the voice of Shaggy from Scooby-Doo.
Shaggy. He did. Did the voice of Robin.
Yoinks. Which
he was married to okay. Cheers had two spinoffs.
Yeah. Oh, you're going to invoke the Tortellis?
The Tortellis. He was married to the woman on the Tortellis who stole his body and hid it when he died. It's a whole story there.
I am convinced that we have more listeners than the Tortellis had viewers. And I don't think that's even an exaggeration.
There's no Tortelli fans out there? Come on.
I mean, if you're a Tortelli fan, write to us at SetiBimco with an E at the end at Gmail. Okay. Tell us all about your Tortelli fan fictions.
Casey Kasem, he'd be like, it's Casey Kasem here.
He had a very distinctive voice. Yeah, well, if you heard Shaggy, which you have, he has a voice similar to that, which weirdly he did not in this movie. He sounded very generic.
It's Casey Kasem.
Because this movie, like all Tim movies, was recorded like garbage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's Casey Kasem. Sound like that, right?
Kind of.
This is Casey Kasem. Coming in at number 5 is Phil Collins with In the Air Tonight.
Oh, no.
Coming in Tim, at number 6 is Genesis, Turn It On Again. Number 7, it's Phil Collins with Susu Studio.
Wow, Phil Collins just got a lockdown these charts.
Sally Bensworth writes in from small town Georgia, wonders, how did Phil Collins do that awesome drum solo in the air tonight? Well, we asked him. He said,
"Now, should I be Phil Collins?"
He bought an extra arm in Liverpool and had it attached to his body. After he did the song, he donated that arm to charity. And today, that arm is still being used.
It was, wow, Casey Kasem.
Come on, Phil. We have Phil Collins here.
Wait, now after that, I come on as Phil Collins? No, we're ending this bit.
All right.
You went on too long. You made me have to talk of his third arm.
So the Utley sisters, they operate whiskey stills, and it appears the government, I wrote this down, is like losing $600 million a year on not getting their taxes on whiskey, which is hard to believe.
Casey Kasem is a G-man who's in town to stop all the whiskey stills that are being done, the moonshine.
Yeah.
And the sheriff is like, I can do that, but the problem is people keep buying it, so I keep knocking them down. But Casey Kasem makes it do it, so they go and raid the Utley sisters, who are 3 women?
Well, Casey is a goofy hardball. He's like trying to be a, what am I saying?
He's the big city guy, and this movie celebrates. I actually saw it referred to as Hicksploitation.
Yes, it's Hicks.
This movie celebrates country folk.
I'm not making fun of any Hicks, but this is Hicksville, and nobody in this town could count higher than 5. I'm not trying to assault anybody. If people in this town, I don't know if you missed that scene. They're like, nobody here can count more than 5 unless we's drunk, and sometimes we count to 7. They don't. Anyway, so they go out to the whiskey still.
Yeah.
And they find Jessie in the swimming hole. Surprisingly, for an exploitation film, she's got her underwear on, because I fully expected going to see her naked.
Yes, no nudity to be found anywhere in this movie at all.
She tries to run away, and she shouts it's a raid, and the other girls get their guns. Gotta say it like that. And there's a shootout.
There's a lot. A thing that this movie does quite a lot, which was very interesting, is I guess they didn't want to spend money on blanks.
Oh, yes.
So a lot of the shootouts are just the actors doing the most ridiculously pantomimed kickbacks. There's a scene when the sheriff is firing his handgun, and you would think he was holding a 50 millimeter howitzer, the way this thing kicked back.
Yes.
There's just sound effects added after the fact. There's no muzzle flash.
Oh, sometimes they animate it. I think they must have painted the film. You know,
it looks like there's definitely the shot, spoilers later on, a lady gets shot in the head point blank. That was definitely drawn on.
Yes. That's Aunt Tilly. Spoilers.
All right. Well, now you gave the real
Poor Aunt Tilly. So the other 2 girls, they find the police car unattended. They drive it off a cliff.
One of them gets shot in the back with the shotgun, but it's kind of like a weird surface wound. It's like it's a smear of blood. But
they throw the police car off a cliff that was not there. And they're in the woods, but they put the accelerator on. The car goes over a cliff and explodes. Explodes real good.
Should I freak you out and tell you my big trivia?
Well, let me say this first.
Okay.
So we get out of this scene. Casey Kasem goes into the still, and he lights a match because he's going to blow it up. In this film, already had rape and someone getting shot and stabbed and left on the ground to die. So Casey Kasem, when he blows up the shack, it's smoke, and he walks out like Wile E. Coyote with smuts all over,
he's just got
all over his face.
He has soot on his face, and his hair's torn back.
And his hair's sticking.
And there was a weird comedic scene before that where he's asking the sheriff, hey, will you take a picture of me? And the sheriff's like, oh, yeah, you look really good, Captain. And he's like, I know I don't look good. It's actually a pretty funny scene, but it has no business being in this movie.
No.
And again, the only 2 people who could act worth a damn were the sheriff and I guess Casey Kasem.
Yeah.
So I guess I feel like it was one of those things they improv'd a lot. So it's this weird kind of funny bit where they're playing off and then he cartoonishly blows up and he's okay.
He faints. No, he goes, ooh, and he faints.
But that's it for him in the movie. So Casey Kasem, gone. All right, you ready for the big shocking bit? Because I wanted to wait till we introduce the girls.
Okay.
Do you know where this movie actually was filmed? You guessed Florida. It's not Florida. I'll tell you that.
Well, if it's something I wouldn't expect, I'd say maybe upstate New York.
Nope.
Oh,
I want you to
Is it Long Island?
Nope. Well, I want you to think of the most SETI BIMCO place for a movie like this to be filmed aside from Florida.
Auburn, New York.
I'm going to tell you, it was filmed Tim, this is going to blow your mind. This is pretty actually cool. It's filmed at Spahn Ranch.
What? Wow,
which, for those of you who don't, Spahn Ranch is the place where, if you've ever seen, what was the Quentin Tarantino movie? Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Mm-hmm. Or if you were a fan of the Mansons, it's where they lived in California, like our erstwhile co-host John Kelly. Not only that, Tim, as they filmed this movie, there's multiple accounts that the Mansons would come up and beg them for food from craft services.
You hear that, people? Watch this movie.
Which I will point out.
Wait, that can't be true. This movie didn't have craft services. Come on.
I mean, I imagine the craft services was expired olive loaf and stale bread.
Peanut butter and jelly.
But it's still better than what the Mansons are doing at that point. Which also, I will point out, proves conclusively this movie is not an artifact of the 70s and therefore does not pass the barrier.
Well, 1970.
This is a 60s. Well,
when
or
was
66.
It filmed? When did the murders take place? When were they living
The murders took place in 69, and they lived there from about 67 through 69.
So it was filmed.
There. It was filmed squarely in the 60s. That explains why it's hot trash.
Wow.
But isn't that fucking crazy?
Yeah.
Because there's a lot in this movie that I'm surprised more people haven't kind of – because there's a lot of Manson-y family shit going on in this movie. And I'm like, I can honestly see if they're filming this movie on their home turf and there's a bunch of drugged out, like, I don't know, what do you call them? Like
cult members.
We'll say cultist, yeah. I mean, it was an organized cult, but he definitely had a cult-like leader. Mm-hmm. It fucking follows.
Yeah. Oof.
Yeah. So the rest of this movie is going to be
Manson's bus was had the number 666 on it,
and it went to, but it didn't go to hell. It went to heck.
We're going to hell.
Went to Hecksville. See what I did there?
Yeah. Hollywood. We're going to Hollywood.
Yeah. Oh, that's terrible. Oh, do you hear? Again, the last few people who hadn't turned up the podcast just did. Hey, everybody, join us in saying hi to our friend Chris, who never listens. Hi, Chris.
Wonder how he did at trivia last night.
Did he invite you? He didn't invite me.
I'm on his invite list.
Yeah, I'm not.
While we're on Casey Kasem, there's some other strange coincidences in this movie. Casey Kasem has many things in common.
I smell a Tim list.
With Hicksville.
All right.
At least 3 things.
Okay.
Number 1. As we said, Casey Kasem did the voice for Robin in Super Friends. And Super Friends was banned in Hicksville because the town folks didn't like Batman and Robin flaunting their homosexual lifestyle out in the public like that. So it was not allowed to be shown there.
All right.
Another thing Casey Kasem and Hicksville had in common. Casey Kasem did that America Top 40 TV show. That show was banned in Hicksville because they didn't like Hall & Oates flaunting their homosexual lifestyle out in public like that.
You know, the thing is, Tim.
Yeah.
This is hewing too close to real life. It's like
what?
There are places that this would really be happening. They're like, we don't like that Batman and Robin on a case of what they've been shacking up together and sliding up and down that pole in the Batcave.
True.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yep. And what's the third one? You got rule of 3s. You got to do 3.
Well, Casey also did the voice for Scooby Shaggy Shaggy on Scooby-Doo, as we said.
Yep.
And that wasn't allowed to be shown in Hicksville because they didn't like Shaggy.
Can I guess the homosexual?
No, you can't guess it. Go ahead, try to guess it.
The bestiality homosexual relationship between Shaggy and Scooby Snacks.
Nope.
No.
They didn't like Shaggy and that guy Velma flaunting their homosexual lifestyle in public.
That guy Velma. You just misgendered Velma, you fucking jerk.
Sorry. It was a different time.
No, it's right now. You're making us watch this.
Oh, also, did you know Casey Kasem did voices for cartoons on Sesame Street? I found that out.
I didn't, no.
Sesame Street wasn't allowed to be shown in Hicksville because that giant yellow talking chicken gave Orville nightmares. Anyway.
Okay. That was the dodge because I'm like, he's going to do Bert and Ernie because they're gay too.
Yes.
All right. So I'm taking control even though I barely remember this movie. But we cut to the sheriff's station, the holding cell, where there's the 3 bikers, and I think there's 3 Utley girls.
Well, let me back you up just 1 minute. I know it's important for the plot. First, they go to Aunt Tilly's. We meet Aunt Tilly, and that's where Pike lives. And the girls seem to know Aunt Tilly because they're like, "You got to sew me up, Aunt Tilly. I got shot in the back."
And, you're right.
And Pike says something like, "No, but she's not something." There's some plot that's left out. I'm like, "You go out and play with the chickens. I got to sew up these girls."
Well, Pike doesn't say anything because he's just in a big box. It just flashes a light twice.
Oh, man, nobody's going to get that. That show is airing right now. Season 2 of Strange New Worlds with Captain Pike. It's my favorite Star Trek show, everybody.
Nice. I like that you think that Star Trek will be a reference people won't get, but you drop references to like the fucking Osmonds and shit.
Not
There's
so
like
far.
9. Not so far. All right.
We're not. This is the kind of town where Mark Twain would have liked to hang out.
Oh no, Mark Twain's back.
Anyway.
Don't you have a riverboat to navigate down the Mississippi? So they're all in this holding cell together. The 3 girls and the 3, because some of the girls are not with them, right?
Oh, the one girl that got caught, she's locked up. And
that's Red.
Across from the bikers, and she starts taking her clothes off for some reason. She's like, "Oh, I wish."
Oh, that was weird.
You wish you could have some of this, don't you? And then the police officer, his name is Jesse. He's like, "Lordy, put your clothes on." Oh no! I was like, "What's going on?"
Yeah, he's like unable to.
He can't
it's
handle
like
it.
he thinks she was radioactive. He's like, "I can't go near you because you're in your bra and panties." And this is like 1960s bra and panties, so they actually cover more than like a tuxedo.
Right. They're made of asbestos.
Wait, everybody. Let's let them do this. What are they made of, Tim?
What? How do you pronounce it?
I want to hear you do it first.
Asbestos.
Yeah, that's it. It's obsessed. Yeah. Asbestos, you boob. Good Lord.
Her bra and panties were made of that stuff.
Oh, I'm going to call a new rule for Seti Bimco. Don't make a joke if it's a word you can't pronounce.
I can pronounce it.
I don't think you can. I think you haven't yet.
Asbestos.
Oh, he did it. He did it, everybody. Woo! Added some applause there. All right.
So they all come to break out the lady. And that's the worst police officer.
Who's they?
The other girls. They're like, we got to break her out of prison, and we're going to go. I don't know what they were doing. What were they going to do after that? What's going on with the plot here?
So the way it's been done is there's been an understanding between law enforcement and the various distilleries in which the girls are sub that we leave each other alone. Now they're like super mad because they did this. They go to break out the other girl, and on a whim they decide to free the 3 bikers, who of course we know are the worst people in the world, but they weren't in those scenes, so they don't know that yet. And they're like, there's 3 of them. There's 3 girls. There's 3 bikers. They're like, let's form a alliance together and we'll do stuff. But it immediately just goes to shit.
And Red tells the sheriff,
Red, who's the lead girl,
Animal, don't hurt my sheriff. He's my cousin by marriage. So Animal strangles him to death.
Yep.
But she doesn't see that.
No, and I had to, that was one of many scenes I had to go back to make sure that's what happened, because you think when you're strangled that you put up a fight.
Well, they took
sheriff.
No, this is where sheriff. He was upset because he's seen Red in her underpants.
Yeah, but like he doesn't like. Yeah. Anyway.
Oh, you're in your underpants. Yeah, they get together and the bikers are like, I think I should be sleeping with you, and Animal should be sleeping with you, and it's like 3 girls and 3 guys, and Pike strangles one of the bikers in a weird scene, pushes his face into his food. It's almost sexual.
It's so weird. So there's a scene like I'm not even there. They're at Aunt Tilly's house. Yeah. Is that what's going on? They're
hanging out there. I think that's
the
Spawn Ranch.
So Pike, it is definitely, because it looks exactly like it does in that movie.
Chickens everywhere.
Pike is there, and he's just kind of this quiet looming presence in the background. Everyone's calling him a hillbilly, even though he looks like he's just a preppy.
Yeah, he's a hillbilly.
And the lead biker, who is the guy Teach, who reminds me of Jason Segel from To
Kill or Be Killed.
No,
View from a Kill.
Maybe
License to Revoke.
All right, I'm going to stop talking about this now. But anyway, there's this really weird scene where he just strangles him from behind, and like the other 2 bikers don't respect at all.
No,
he literally strangles him to the point where he's unconscious, maybe in his food.
Shoves him into his food,
but he doesn't fight back
him into that
all. Like the thing about choking someone, you're like you thrash about wildly.
Yeah,
you struggle. He just kind of goes there, and then he like. And like Red's like, please stop killing him. Please stop killing him. And he stops and no one's doing anything. And the guy just slowly gets up with like jelly on his face, looks at him and is like, what'd you do that for? Yeah. And I'm like, I watched that 3 times because I'm like, am I missing something?
I don't know what happened there. I think there were drugs involved. Maybe he saw Red in her underpants. I don't know. Definitely drugs. Well, they'd been drinking moonshine. Maybe they made a point of that.
Maybe. I don't know. So what happens?
They fix the car and they go on the run and the police are chasing them. That's pretty much, let me see. Yeah, I got to. I'm up to that part.
Yeah.
There's a long chase, a lot of banjo music.
I did write another note for this 37 minutes in for a full 4 minutes. It's the scratchy-ass film, banjo music, bad audio, and near just total darkness.
Yes, the car. Is this where the car chase?
You can't see. Yeah. I'm writing this. You can't see shit.
And it goes on.
Gun. It's like, where did that come from? No.
Animal shoots it at the police car. And then Animal jumps out. He stands in the road and guns down the police and then murders them in the car.
Yep. Which the sheriff, who up until this point was probably the main character, is killed in this scene, presumably.
Presumably, because we never see it.
Because you don't see it. It was kind of filmed, but there's no close-ups. They had no blank. So it's just like, it's the guy Animal just shaking a gun, then putting in noises and it's the darkest, most ill-lit thing ever. Yeah, so now they know they're bad news because they killed some cops.
So they go back and they kill Aunt Tilly.
Well, they kill Aunt Tilly because the idea is like Aunt Tilly, she's going to tell them. So
she knows.
The one guy whose name we can't remember. What was his name?
Who are we talking about here?
The guy who kills Aunt Tilly, that biker.
I think that was Teach.
No.
Or his Animal. I don't know the name of the other one. I'm going to call the other one Hector.
Well, he's like all creepy with her. He's like, yeah, I'll let you go. And then he shoots her point blank in the head.
I know.
This is the scene where it seems they drew on a muzzle flash, though.
Yes.
It's the only time in the movie where you see one. There's a scene when they're shooting like windshields and stuff where you just hear sound effects of glass breaking, but like there's clearly no, like a woman gets hit driving a car. I don't know who it was and how she dies, but because I can't tell anybody in this movie apart.
Because this is kind of a rampage at the house because he goes out and Red runs into the outhouse and he just takes his machine gun and shoots the outhouse and a roll of toilet paper rolls out for comic effect.
Oh my God. Yeah, I wrote that part down. Like he murders one of the girls. She runs in an outhouse, which is the worst place to die. And we know she's dead because the toilet paper rolls out.
Second movie. This is the third movie with an outhouse I think we've watched.
Yeah, actually, maybe that's the Sandy Bimco like connection.
Okay, Animal kills, toilet paper funny. Are we to laugh or cry? Aunt Tilly's death mask is hard not to laugh at because it was a close up of her painted on hole in her head, no blood. Here's where the film breaks and Pike finds Red. And she seems hurt and like something
what was that about?
Because I was like so happy. I'm glad this movie is like an hour long and they just cut that out.
And I'm also going to say this, like this movie, which is called The Girls of Thunder Creek.
Yeah.
Thunder Strip. You expect the women to be like these Hellcats who get revenge. They become useless victims.
Yep.
And this guy Pike, who is this weird goon that his only other scene really is he oddly quietly strangles one of the bikers from behind and lets him go. He becomes this avenging force and he kills. Well, I mean, let's just say how he kills him real quick, right?
Well, I have important something to discuss in that part. What are we up to? Where all the bikers are dead except one, right? And Pike is chasing him because then we get another long scene running through the woods. They chase them through fields, through trees, and they fight.
The music finally changes.
They keep chasing.
And the constant banjo that's been playing the entire time for Miss Friend movie changes.
At one point, Animal finds a guy fixing his car. His name's Harry.
Yeah.
And he just beats the shit out of him, takes his car. Why are you shaking your head?
Because I just figured out who your revenge sequel's about. I think he's actually supposed to have shot Harry, by the way.
Well, yeah, something. Seems like he stabbed him.
there's blood, but we know the special effects for this movie were not exactly top notch.
Pike finds Harry, and Harry's like, I'm hurt bad. I'm dying. I'm hurting that bad. And he just leaves him in the road and goes, I got to chase Animal. He leaves him there in the sun. That was the thing I was thinking. At least put a hat over him. So they chase Animal through the woods, and Animal runs.
By the way, the character he's referring to as Animal is the character we previously were referring to as Teach, in case anyone's wondering.
Okay, I don't know.
He's the same guy that was strangled by Pike earlier.
He's a biker.
Yeah.
And he runs into, do you want to say how he dies?
Well, okay, let me just emphasize that, like, when Tim is saying he runs and runs and runs, he's not exaggerating. It's literally like 4 or 5 minutes of them running.
It's like
there's a scene where it is, except for there's a scene where like the biker guy's hiding with a big stick and he hits the guy in the belly and the guy grabs it and he runs away. It's just running through fields and woods and different bioclimes entirely. And then finally
gets leeches on
him. Gets leeches.
The other guy's like, let me take those off.
They stop, they light cigarettes, burn them off very carefully. Finally, the biker runs into a cave with with our hero Pike in hot pursuit, and we hear a crazy and like a wildcat noise.
Yes.
For a second, I'm like, is this a stealth Bigfoot movie? No. But it's not.
Did you look away from the screen? Because you're not saying the funniest part.
That he sat outside and smoked a cigarette?
No, we saw the wildcat. It was a stuffed wildcat. You must have looked away.
Oh, I did look away.
They showed him for a second. He was a stuffed animal. It was a stuffed animal. It wasn't moving.
Come on. This movie.
Yeah, so Pike just smokes a cigarette. That's what
it's really funny.
That's what a hillbilly does when...
Or in the case of him, a J. Crew sales associate, because that's what he looks like.
He's a hillbilly.
He's not. This guy didn't even have a twang.
He could not count above the number 5.
Okay, he's got a head injury, but that's it. And then he runs. Oh, Tim, there was a movie I want to share first.
What?
Because there is a woman who is being held hostage. One of the Utley sisters is being held hostage by this biker. Mm-hmm. Again, these women become utterly helpless to help themselves. And she's all crying and screaming, and he's got a gun to her head, and he's firing occasionally at the approaching Pike, who is unarmed.
Yes.
He uses up all his bullets, and there's like a tussle. The guy runs off, and before Pike goes in hot pursuit for that really long race, he assures this Utley sister that Red's still alive. Mm-hmm. And then, no, she goes, is Red alive? And this is his quote. I wrote it down. This is what fucking Pike says. Our hero, everybody. She's alive enough to marry me.
Yes.
Whether she says yes or not.
She's a marrying me.
Like, you fucking, like this, like, so, these, like, you're just going to force this woman to marry you? Like, and then at the end, I think we see them run towards each other. I don't know.
No, he gets her, and he helps the 2 women back to the car, totally forgetting about Harry, who's lying dead on the dirt road somewhere.
Nobody checked on the toilet paper lady.
No one checked on Harry. No one checked on Harry. That's important.
Right.
But yeah, he tells the other woman. He basically tells the other woman all the wedding plans. Like, I hope you'll be there.
You're gonna marry me. You're gonna cook me soup in a can.
You'll make the wedding cake.
Soup out of a can.
The other girl, Lil. We totally forgot. She might have been raped because they went to a house. They're making a woman get them water, and they shot her. And he's like, I'm going in the house with Lil, and she screams for a moment, but then Pike shows up and shoots the other biker. Anyway.
I hated this movie. Yeah. Like, it's such a misogynistic piece of trash.
Yeah.
I don't like that we have to say the R word so much.
You focus on the bad stuff. Come on. Yeah, it was bad. It's just a bad movie.
Bad movie.
So that we could talk about Casey. Let's go to revenge. Wherever you are, wherever you're hiding, I'll find you. I'll get you.
Revenge.
Revenge. One of us will die. One of us will die.
I will not let Cindy take my place. I will have my revenge.
All right.
So, from this movie, who is most likely to become what?
A wildlife photographer. Can I start it?
Is that what it was? Yeah, yep. I think you're right.
I wrote it down. Yeah, number 14.
Oh my God.
So here's what happens, Tim.
Oh my God.
this movie ends with the lead biker, Teach, or maybe Animal, or whatever, running into a cave where he sees a stuffed cat. We hear him, we think, being dispatched off camera, but he just screams like that when he's startled. He pulls out his Nikon Rakolta camera that he'd been carrying underneath his leather vest this whole time.
A Nikon Rakolta?
I don't know if that's a camera. I'm trying to make it sound fancy. He snaps a few pictures of this wildcat in repose, and he sells it to J. Jonah Jameson.
Okay.
Now you take over.
Oh, what? What the hell?
Well, come on.
He sells this photo to J. Jonah Jameson, and who's reading the newspaper but Kraven the Hunter?
Oh, Kraven the Hunter. Is it the new Kraven the Hunter?
I don't know.
Aaron Taylor Johnson, the guy who bit off that trailer was just released yesterday. He bites off a guy's nose.
Whoa, I didn't see that.
Because when I think Kraven the Hunter, I think nose is getting bit off.
Well, that's this one. He's like Hicksville.
And so Sergey Kravinoff the Hunter, he seizes the paper. What does he say, Tim?
He says, Hicksville, huh? Sounds like a fun place to hunt me some mountain lions and hunt me some ladies making moonshine.
You know, for a Russian immigrant, he has a surprisingly corn-fed accent.
I forgot who I'm doing.
So Kraven puts on his second best vest. His best vest, of course, is his lion skin vest. He instead puts on his leather vest from a biker gang, which I didn't mention. The name of this biker gang was Hell's Chosen Few.
Yes.
Turns out Kraven was an auxiliary member. So he shows up in full biker regalia to hunt down the man who took these photos of the wildcats. And he's going to hunt him down. And he's going to, I don't know, bite his nose off probably because he's Kraven the nose-biting hunter. And he sees the vest. And then what happens?
Jesus. He sees the vest.
Take it home, baby. Take it home.
Well, he says, hey, that's my vest. Wait, who sees whose vest?
They're both wearing the same vest.
Oh, my God.
That's the thing. They have this connection. He was going to hunt him.
They start choking each other. They start during dinner at a diner. They shove each other's face into the cornmeal.
But there's no sudden movements. It's just like a very... And people nearby are like, is this a weird neck massage? Like, should we be interrupting this?
Well, they scream at the very end. And one of the other...
What do they scream?
They're screaming. They die, and one of the other diners says, I'll have what they're having. The end.
The end. Wow. This is good stuff.
That's a reference to When Harry Met Sally.
Tim.
In case you didn't know.
Don't spell out your references. They'll know.
You want me to do my revenge story?
No, I'll go first because I think you probably wrote something out in advance and I didn't understand who the characters were.
Okay. So
right,
you mean you want to go first because
I'll go first because mine's probably I don't know where mine's going.
Do you want help? Raise your hand if you need help because I can't see you.
I will, but you can't see me because there's no video. All right. Revenge time. Roll the music, hit the lights. Okay. Here we go. So this movie, there's a lot of aggrieved characters in this movie. There's a lot of causes for revenge. Pretty much everybody kills somebody and a lot of death happens. But what I'm going to put my attention to, in the beginning of the film, there was a woman. We don't know her name. Let's call her Shoeless Kathy. Shoeless Kathy never wore shoes, and she was one day she was walking through Broken Glass Alley, and she's like, I've made a terrible mistake. This is almost as bad as when I went to Legoland. See what I'm doing there?
Yeah.
And she was offered a ride by these two passing bikers. Turns out they abducted her, did terrible misogynistic things, because this movie didn't feed her for days. Finally, they made her siphon gas or something. We weren't really sure. She was brought to the side of a gas station. She tried to eat. They peed on her. And then she was accidentally stabbed. The sheriff showed up, and just when she thought she was finally safe, he beats up one of the guys, carries them off all to jail, and leaves her there, wait for the doctor to arrive. Well, she's waiting, and she's like, what did I do to deserve this? And she hears this kind of weird beaming down noise. And a guy comes up, he's like, good Lord, Jim, she's been stabbed. That's right, the doctor is fucking Bones McCoy. Yep. And he pulls out his phaser or his photon or some shit, and he sews her right back up. And he's like, is that how he heals them? Tricorders?
Well, that's how he examines.
Well, he doesn't have to examine her. He knows she got stabbed by a biker. So he gives her a stab by a biker pill. And then he gives her like a little red dress. He goes, here, you're going to join the Starfleet Alliance.
Red dress.
She becomes a member of Star Trek, of the Enterprise.
She's in security because she's dressed in red.
Is that what that means? I thought it just means you die. Okay.
A red uniform.
And yeah, and of course she has sex with Kirk.
Okay.
And she gets space herpes, but they could cure that in the future, so it's not that bad. And she's enjoying her new life, but she's really mad about what happened before. She's like, I was just a simple shoeless woman wandering the country, and I was stabbed, I was peed on. I want to get some revenge.
So this wasn't Earth.
This was Earth.
Okay, so it's the Enterprise time traveled?
Yeah, they do it all the time. There's one where they meet Hitler, isn't there? Yeah. So, no? I thought there was.
They went to a planet of Nazis. Long story.
Oh, okay. All right, well, whatever. But I know they time travel because there's that one where they go back and they find the whales.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So on one of the stars, because they're always making excuses despite the Prime Directive to not go back in time. They do.
She would have died, so they took her. Just helping you out. They're not
helping her out.
They're not disrupting the timeline. You gotta.
They totally are, though. The real reason is that watching up on his hollow unit, Kirk is like, Bones, go get that hot piece of ass. And so that's funny.
It's out of character for Kirk.
Shut up. So she steals, let's say, a shuttle, and she comes back down, and she's got her phaser, and she's got her lightsaber, and she's got her adamantium claws, and she is going to lay waste to all these people. But she has discovered they're all fucking dead. Mm-hmm. The only person really who's alive, there's still Red.
Yes.
And there's her husband by way of Force, Pike.
Yes.
And she's trying to suss out the situation. She's like, did you say yes to marry him? And Red's like, well, and Pike keeps talking to her. He's like, no, you don't worry about her. You don't worry about her. And so she finally realizes the person she has to take revenge on. Mm-hmm. And she takes Pike with her into the future. But right before they get to her timeline, she kicks him out of a space wormhole. So he lands, let's say, about 15 years earlier than she was.
Okay.
Without a lot to go on, all he knows about the future is that people are part of this federation. Mm-hmm. He joins the federation. Jesus. And surprisingly, he rises through the ranks. He gets a cool yellow shirt. Mm-hmm. He gets his captain of the Enterprise.
Okay.
Yeah, and then one day, while saving some cadets from... hold on.
Stop reading.
From a baffle plate rupture on board a J-class training vessel, he's bombarded with delta ray radiation, which leaves him paralyzed, unable to speak, badly scarred, and played by a completely different actor. Yep. That is the story of how Shoeless Kathy created Captain Pike and got revenge on him.
Wow.
Yeah. And the music.
That was hard. It was hard to follow, George.
I think it made a lot of sense. Oh, does this make it better, Tim? It was a multiverse. Every movie is multiverse now, right?
Every movie is a multiverse.
So if this upsets you, because I know you Trekkers are into your continuity with your Vulcans and your Spocks.
This doesn't fit in.
And your T'Pows and whatnot. This might
be the Kelvin universe.
Did I mention that McCoy had he had a Van Dyke? So it wasn't quite a goatee. I know in the evil universe they all have goatees. He's a Van Dyke, so it's like, who knows what this one is? I think DeForest Kelly looked good with a little chin dangle.
I think this was the Kelvin universe, the movies, the new movies that you call them.
I think this is the Fahrenheit.
They call them the Kelvin universe. I don't know why you.
I call it. I don't know.
People get ready.
All right, you got yours now.
Okay, cue my music.
All right, everybody. Tim just took out what appears to be a phone book printed on a dot matrix printer.
I kept it short. So Harry, who was the guy who was beaten up by the biker, left in the road bleeding,
possibly shot,
and Pike didn't go back to get him. He got the girls. Married Red. It's like, yay, we're all good. Left Harry in the road. So, yeah, Red and Pike, they go up to the Motel 6 in the next town over for their honeymoon. And that hotel has a cement pond they love to jump into.
Ooh. Is it filled with water, or is it just like a cement hole?
Just cement hole. They just like jumping in it. Into the leaves. Their knees. And the bones that are in there.
Wait, Bones from my story? Bones, DeForest Kelly?
Oh, no. Raccoon Bones.
Captain McCoy? Raccoon Bones. Wait, is this like Rocket Raccoon, but he's the version of him that is... different universes.
Different universe.
Multiverse.
So the beds of the motel, they vibrate if you put a quarter in them and everything. So it's a fun place. But meanwhile, back in Hicksville, Harry drags himself over to recover under some shade trees. He eats some bugs and roots, and he lays there for a few nights as Pike told nobody about him, and all the police are dead. Harry,
that's true.
Harry, a skilled mountain man, follows Pike's footprints all the way to the mountain cave of the lion who ate Animal. Harry is angry that he can't have his revenge on Animal, but he now wants revenge on Pike for forgetting all about him and leaving him the road to die. He and the lion stare each other down. Harry needs meat, and the lion wants to eat Harry.
Does he realize that the reason the lion's staring is because it's a stuffed animal?
Yeah, he does realize.
He's going to be disappointed when he tries to eat that thing.
He did have a screwdriver in his pocket as he tried to fix his car back when Animal beat him up. The lion jumps on him, but Harry stabs the lion in the head and kills him. He then makes fire and eats him. Now Harry has a full belly, and he's in possession of the spirit of the lion. He sleeps at night, and he goes out in the day to get revenge on Pike, who left him for dead in the middle of the road. On his journey, he fell in a well, got his leg caught in a bear trap, his hair grew wild, and his hair was filled with twigs and burrs, and he'd been lost in the woods for at least 5 days because he can't count any higher than 5. And he skinned another bear and wore his skin as his own. He was spotted around town, and people came to call him Dirty Harry, not because of the state of his filthy body, but because he
kept saying, "Go ahead, make my day."
No, because he would peek in people's windows to watch them get undressed.
Oh, that is dirty.
He finally got to Aunt Tilly's old place where Pike and Red lived. Dirty Harry had gotten a hold of a gun, and when he saw Pike in the yard fixing up his car, he shot at him 5 times, but missed, and killed 5 chickens instead. He walked up to Pike, who was terrified, laying on the ground, unarmed. And Dirty Harry said to him, "I know what you're thinking, Pike. Did I just fire 5 shots, or does another numeral higher than 5 exist, and thus I have another bullet?" But suddenly a shot rang out, and Dirty Harry fell to the ground dead, with his head blown open. And we see over in the outhouse, Red is sitting in the outhouse with the door open with her gun in her hand, having just shot Dirty Harry square in the head, as her roll of toilet paper rolls out down the hill right into Dirty Harry's head and soaks up all the blood. Red says, "Damn it, that's our 5th and last roll of toilet paper."
Because there's no higher number.
That movie's called Dirty Harry First Blood.
Nice. Wow, Dirty Harry First Blood.
Yes.
My movie, we never came up with a title for mine.
Yeah, what's yours called? Star Trek First Blood. I don't know. First Contact with Blood.
I'm trying to think, is there any good puns here?
The search for the wrath of...
The ensign from Thunder Strip.
The undiscovered Hicksville. There you go. I don't know.
I don't know anything anymore.
Enterprise, Voyager. Yeah, there's a good pun there.
The Enterprising Young Adventures of Shoeless Kathy.
But you had to think of something.
Yeah. Well, tell you what, listeners, if you are listening at home and are delighted by Tim and my flights of fancy, why don't you write in to SETI BIMCO with an E at the end at Gmail and tell us what you think my movie was called. Yeah. In fact, that reminds me, Tim, did we have an email this week?
Yeah.
We do?
Yeah.
Nice.
Oh, it's from George O'Connor. Why do you keep writing our show, George?
Because I'm not always on. And when I am not, I need to be heard.
Do I have to read this?
Yeah, I think so. Do it as Casey Kasem.
Oh, this is Casey Kasem here. Hello,
don't do it as Casey Kasem. I'm already annoyed.
I was listening to the latest episode. I don't know what's... I was listening to the latest episode of SETI BIMCO, She Freak, with guest host Kenny Crisplasho, and was appalled to hear you refer to Felix Sila's role in Batman Returns as the Emperor Penguin. I
remember this.
I immediately took this email to register my outrage, but moments later, Cootie Caboodie corrected that Mr. Sila played a Emperor Penguin, one of several, rather than some character named the Emperor Penguin. Phew, crisis averted.
Important distinction.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah. However, as I'd already begun typing, I thought I would help clear up a lingering mystery. What was the line that Prince Randian, the armless, legless man in Todd Browning's Freaks, uttered after rolling a cigarette with his mouth? Much like Kobe Kapowski, I also own Freaks on DVD. Ooh, and so I watched it with closed captioning to answer your question. Turns out what the Snake Man was saying was, looks like it's oyster crackers for dinner again. Mystery solved. Hugs and kisses, your pal, New York Times bestseller, George O'Connor.
Man, I love when that guy writes it. He always, he has an amazing DVD collection. He's always up for the challenge of adding information about Masters of the Universe or Prince Randian. That dude, we should have him on as a guest or maybe even a permanent co-host.
He is, yes, and
yes, and
you know what?
Oh wait, Tim just disappeared. Here's Mark Twain again.
You know what Mark Twain said about oyster crackers?
Why did he refer to yourself in the third person, Mark Twain?
It's not the crackers and the oysters, but the oysters and the crackers.
That sounds filthy. Filthy and possibly racist.
Do you have a movie for next week?
I do.
So I don't forget what we're trying to do here.
Yeah. What are we trying to do here?
I don't know.
Oh, okay. I thought there was something special. All right. So my movie for next week is Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. No, it's not.
I would do
my
that.
movie. So actually, Tubi has been getting to know me. It gives me a lot of cool recommendations. And this one, I don't remember how this came up, but we're going to watch this amazing looking film called Golden Temple Amazons.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Should I write this down? Golden Temple Amazons.
Golden Temple Amazons. I've watched a little bit of it. It's dubbed. It's a sword and sandals flick. The opening scene is topless women on horses. I'm like, enough said.
Oh, jeez.
Yep.
Is this the movie we talked about? There's a part 2, or is this something different?
No, that was Deathstalker, I want to say.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So that's the end. Give us 5. Give us 5 stars, because because I can't count any higher than that. 5 stars.
Yeah, there is no higher. There's no higher number.
You can give us 5 stars on anything, on Good Pods, on Amazon. No, not Amazon. On what's the other one? What's with the other A?
Apple.
Yeah,
the other giant conglomeration starts with an A.
Yeah.
Send 5 stars to our house. This is Tim's address.
So that's it. That's it. Is that it?
I think so. So see you all next week. Same SETI time, same SETI channel. What do you think?
Yeah. Okay. Goodbye.
All right. Bye, everybody.
I should sound more excited. Hey, everybody.
I know.
Goodbye.
Hey, everybody. It's time to leave.
It's time to go. Goodbye.
Goodbye, everybody.
This has been a Pity Party Line production.
Party line. It's a party line.
Okay.
Oh, also.
More. I'm glad we're getting through this movie. It's such a good clip.
Phil Collins had a.
All right.
His album No Jacket Required was number 1 on the America's Top 40, and No Jacket Required is what the people of Hicksville shouted at the condom salesman when they chased him out of town. No jacket required. All right, let's go. Back to the movie.
All right.
There's a big cross out in that joke. I wonder why I crossed that out.
Yeah. Why
did I
you
read
read
that?
it when it was crossed out? Yeah.